called The Prophets of the Present. Those desert dwellers have come and gone, we won't see them again. The wisdom falls in stages and only when you're not paying attention. This teaching has no name, no religion followed their trail, no prophets to hang your hat on. These renegade poets of the desert. Laughter is big medicine, don't take them too seriously, but still they come to town before closing time. Drink up, friends, let the spirit be with you. Who's got the next round? It must be yours, say the renegade poets of the desert. A man of vision is deemed a fool, not even his friends can see him. A prophet is not recognised in his own land, then they will all say, yes, I knew him well. I thought he had something to say, that prophet of the desert. Thank you. I've been accused by some folks of never writing a love song. Lately I've written a few. I'm exaggerating, I've written one. And this is a poem which I think is a kind of a love song, but it's kind of a love song to maybe women in general, called A Woman is Radiant. A woman is radiant when she is loved, that goes without saying, for beauty gets lost in the daily trouble and strife and the dealings of a husband and a wife. How to keep your heart open when everything around you seems closed. A woman is radiant when she is loved. You can tell by the way she walks, her hips subtly swaying, her breasts tasting the atmosphere. An inner glow lights her face. A man feels at peace. It's a blessing to be with a woman like this. A delight to be in her company. A woman is radiant when she's loved. This is a piece called Dyslexia, and I'm sure it's totally inaccurate in terms of what dyslexia actually is. But many years ago I taught in a school, a sort of special school in Adelaide, and one of my students, who was the son of Dr. Catherine Ellis, who was the first woman to work with Pitjantjatjara people in the desert. And he had dyslexia, and he tried to explain it to me, and I really don't think I fully understood it. But this is sort of what I understood from what he said to me. It's called dyslexia. These letters are moving around, these sentences don't make any sense. What was in the past is now in the future tense. A word can dance and dance while letters are hopscotching just for fun. I run with all these meanings till I'm nearly done. There's a shuffle in the rhythm, there's a shuffle in the sound. I catch the wordplay and try to nail it down. Don't be surprised if it changes again. Hieroglyphs could make better friends. I'm really glad my friend Lindsay Farr, he's hiding back there somewhere, is here, because this, Lindsay, where are you, my friend? Lindsay Farr and I, many years ago in the 60s, for those of us who remember the 60s, put your hands up if you remember the 60s. Were you there?
No, yes.
Great. Oh, good. That's a good house for people who've been in the 60s. I don't know the full story, but Lindsay and I think Graham Matters and Dave Pepperell, we all lived in a house in Red Ann Street, a flat. Sorry, not a house, a flat. Let's get it right. Red Ann Street, East St Kilda. Yes? Yes. So we were there in this house, and we didn't have a lot of money, and so we all kind of found ways of sort of, surviving. And things were a bit sort of tight. But this is about something that happened one particular night. And it's sort of dedicated to the second guy on the top row over there, if you can see him, is Adrian Rawlins, the late great Adrian Rawlins, who was quite a character in Melbourne and in Sydney and in the pop festivals and the whole art and literary scene in Australia, and passed away some time ago. So this is for Adrian. It's Saliva Beat poem. It's dinner time and Adrian dropped around. Whatever we've got, we can share it around. The Velvet Underground is playing and Adrian is spraying his saliva around. We're ducking and weaving, listening to the sound. The pizza is good and so are the herbs. Then Adrian starts to lay on words. Good words, wild words, sound words, turd words. Spraying words like a verbal machine gun, the Gatling gun of garrulous words coming at us from all directions. Nothing can compete with the Rawlins sound, not even the Velvet Underground. about as beat poet as I get, I think, that one. Okay. I wasn't going to read this one, but I'm going to read it because I'm the subject matter of the poem I'm wearing. This is called My Black Coat. I think this is one Christine and I have wrestled with a little bit. I think she wanted me to change something and I didn't want to do it, but eventually I think you actually did. I think you did on this one. Yeah, we wrestled a little bit, you know, on some.
Did you want to turn it into my famous blue raincoat?
I was considering that, but no, it's My Black Coat. And actually, while we're on the subject, I must thank Helga for a statement. What a lying job, my friends. What a lying job. Inside, this was French.
That's nice.
And Helga.
Thank you, Roger.
That's Helga lining there.
Yeah.
Thank you. So it's called My Black Coat. This black coat which she found for me at Vinnie's is keeping me warm and looking good in the mountains. I wander from the hotel to the Greek taverna to eat souvlaki and drink red wine. We stagger back arm in arm, my black coat keeping me warm. The following night I'm singing songs with my guitar in a pub and think about wearing the coat. No, too romantic poet. I wear it at home to keep me warm. In the morning, instead of dressing, I throw the coat over my pajamas and head for the dining room. No one seems to mind, just a man in a black coat. Practice. The false singer. I told a lie, the songs are more powerful than I. I tried to sing them, yet they escaped me, moved on a different plane. The song spoke of love, lust, spirit, and the daily struggle to be present when I wasn't. I can't sing at political events. I can't find myself in this atmosphere. My only politics are the politics of the personal interior. I sort of wonder whether other poets and you know, musicians and writers have had that same experience. You know, they kind of ask you to, you know, for the people, or for the cause, or, you know, whatever, and then you go along and you think, you know, is this really me? All of a sudden it's turned into this other thing. And, yeah. Okay, this is based on a true story. I worked a bit in, about 15 years ago in Darwin. And so when I was in New York City, everyone just said, so what's it like Uluru? What's it like? What kind of Australian am I? I've never been there, you know, like I've never been to Uluru, and what's the other one? There was another one. Oh, the Barrier Reef, I've been there. Kakadu, I hadn't been to Kakadu either, so I made sure I went to Kakadu and Uluru. And so this is my little Uluru story, which is a sort of a, you know, believe it or not story, called Snow on Uluru. In 2001, I stayed for a few days at Uluru. I've never been to anywhere like this before, into the cold desert air. At night, people stood around the barbecue and watched the hands cook kangaroo steaks. Very gamey. The next morning at breakfast, a woman from Nova Scotia said it looked like it would snow soon. Everyone looked at her as if she was nuts. It doesn't snow in Uluru. We visited the rock by bus and I walked away from the tour group. On advice from my Aboriginal friends in Sydney, I didn't climb. I walked around the rock. I found a little men's business cave on the way, ate my lunch and did my own secret men's business ritual, singing and contemplating the important men in my life. All this stayed with me when I looked at the front page of the Alice Springs paper the next day. It had snowed on Uluru the first time in 47 years. Thank you. This is something that happened to me in New York City a couple of years ago, and it was really touching. And it's kind of amazing because you don't really notice this. I stayed, luckily my friend Melissa Fenley gave me this recommendation for a hotel. I recommend this if you're going to New York City. The Larchmont in Greenwich Village is probably the cheapest hotel in the village, and it's great. And across the road, just down a little bit, was this tiny, tiny, tiny little Jewish cemetery, and you'd just miss it if you weren't really looking for it. And it's just really tiny, like from about here, you know, across to there. And it's a real reflection of the way things probably used to be, and it's just remarkable that it's been kept there. Anyway, it's called the Jewish Cemetery. Across the road and down the street from my hotel is a tiny Jewish cemetery. The sight of faded gravestones and damp, dark earth echoes of distant past in Greenwich Village. From Spain and Portugal they came to America. They couldn't get in until someone with connections wrote a letter to Peter Stuyvesant asking for their acceptance. Then they made a home here in New York City alongside the Irish, the Chinese and the other European immigrants who now call America home. But this is called the Mystical Letters. How this came about is I was a member of, and it's Friday night, and basically I'm saying it for guilty because I should be in synagogue yet. But Friday night's a better night for us to have it here. And I used to be a member of Temple Emmanuel in Sydney, and we had a lovely teacher there for a while who came from upstate New York, called Robert S. Formas, who was a Sephardi Jew. And he taught me a lot about Kabbalah. And he introduced me to the idea of the teachings of a 15th century Sephardi Jewish writer who lived in Spain called Abraham Abulafia. And so I felt very close to Sephardi Jews and to this tradition and this whole idea of number systems. And I've also set it to music. It's on one of my CDs and I do it with guitar. And I'd also like to thank Joseph Quay for giving the correct pronunciation of Andalusia. Joseph's just come back from Seville. Thank you. Okay, so it's called the Mystical Letters. I found an old book up in the attic. I opened it up and this is what I found. A treatise on Kabbalah as practiced in medieval Spain. Most useful as it introduced me to the concept of time travel, which I excelled in for a short time, long enough to play lute in an Andalusian court. During this time I met Abraham Abulafia. He taught me the ancient code of mystical letters, which is why I'm writing to you. Your words reveal who you are and who you aren't, what they mean and what they don't. What have you done today about following your intuition, your vision, your words and your song? I wish you well following the evening angel. That was 7 poems. Thank you very much.